Hey everyone, so welcome back. We are just having a good time. Retool Tour day number 2 here in Mooresville, North Carolina. I'm joined with Donnie Kirkland, and we are starting the next presentation here in just a few minutes. So we're a little bit early. I hope you don't mind. We're going to just give some folks a few minutes to hop on this next presentation. So Donnie, welcome, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Good to be here.
Donnie, this is your first time at the desk?
It is my first time at the desk.
Yeah, all right. So, yeah, it's not intimidating at all. It's totally fine.
No, just a camera.
Totally fine. Even though we look like we're running the International Space Station.
We're actually NASA headquarters.
So Donnie's hooked us up with some monitors because we're going to be looking at some machine monitoring. Before we start the presentation, which we'll get to in about 5 minutes or so from now, Donnie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I mean, how long have you been with the Weinig Group?
Christian, we've worked together 3 years.
I know.
Come on, I mean, you should know this. No, I've been with the Weinig Group for 15 years. Started in the service department back in 2005.
Yeah.
2006, I had an idea for an application, and at the time, the software developer wasn't able to do it, so I kind of taught myself. So it's been so much fun ever since. So yeah, so I've been doing software development both for internal business and for our customers since about 2006.
Right. Mm-hmm. So there's also a whole department, right? I mean, there is we have a digital business department.
We call it the digital business.
Yeah,
yes.
And it's not just here in the U.S. We have it's in the group as well.
That is correct. That is correct. You know, at our headquarters at Weinig AG, we have approximately 10 employees that are part of digital business, and here in Weinig US, we have 3 employees that are part of digital business.
And you guys work with that team in Germany as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So absolutely. I think that's a really good point to kind of bring up to everyone is that here at Weinig US, we have U.S. staff dedicated to digital business.
Absolutely.
If one of our customers is needing a digital business solution, even though the folks over in Europe may be involved, they have contacts right here in Mooresville.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah. And it puts us in a very nice position because, you know, being a retailer and supporter of all of the Weinig and Holz-Her machinery, we're able to see and respond to the needs of the North American market. So
right.
From all sides, you know, from panel processing to solid wood, you know, across the gamut.
That's right. That's right. So we're going to get started with our presentation here in just a couple minutes. So let me just get this set, Donnie. Excellent. So we're going to be using couple different programs today during our presentation. We have the dashboards, which are in back of us, that we'll take you through kind of in the second half of the presentation, and then we're also going to be taking everybody through via cockpit as well, and which we'll actually share a screen capture of via cockpit, so you guys can kind of get a good in-depth look at what that's like, because that is a mobile application.
That's a mobile application, right?
Yeah.
So it's you know, it's supported from both web application and mobile phones.
Right. So instead of holding our phone up to the camera, we thought we'd just share our screen. It'd probably be easier that way.
I think
right?
so.
Yeah.
Might be able to see it a little better.
Right. So again, this is our Retool Tour day number 2. We have our digital business presentation here that's going to start in just a couple minutes. So stay tuned and we'll get that started. We got some people streaming it live. Hey, if you got any questions, comments, Don, your dashboard just in back of me just refreshed. It kind of freaked me out.
It's live.
So it is live. So hey, if you have some questions, comments, you're watching this live, so just put them in the comments section. We'll see them right here. We'll get them answered for you. So if you have questions about anything that you see, we'll make sure that Donnie gets you an answer to them today. All right, so Donnie, let's go ahead and get started. And so in digital business, the first thing that we're going to cover today is what we call via cockpit. Now, from a really high level, what would you say via cockpit is?
So Via Cockpit is a cloud-based application that's part of the Weinig app.
Okay. Yep.
It allows access, as we stated, from both a web platform and iOS and Android platforms, and it provides machine monitoring tools as far as states of a machine throughout the day.
Right.
It provides notifications. It provides high-level order information, as well as conditions.
Conditions. Like what? Give me an example.
For example, for a molder, it would provide spindle temperatures, so you can see the current conditions of your spindle temperatures, and it will let you know if you have an emergency situation or if everything's under control.
Right. Sure. So this is basically our IoT solution, because because one thing that I think is absolutely amazing about so many of our machines is how many data collectors we actually have. I mean, we're gathering all this data, not just about the job, but about the actual machine as well.
Yep, that's right.
Now, Via Cockpit also has a link to service.
It has a link to service, yes. So for in your Via Maintain, if you will, it will monitor various states of the machine as far as whether certain areas need lubrication. So it keeps a running tally of how many hours it's been since you've lubricated a certain area.
Sure.
If you have an issue, it provides you a link to our service department. Regardless if you are in Europe or if in the U.S., it goes directly to our service department. If you're using the mobile application, it provides you access to your camera or to take video to incorporate into that inquiry.
So cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's so cool. You can just if you're using the app, you can be requesting service and taking pictures to attach that to your request. It's all very nicely self-contained, packaged up. It's quite nice. Now the other thing I was going to say was that as far as showing when a machine say needs lubrication or needs some kind of PM to it, I think the cool thing, because Donnie, this has been part of actual machines for a while. Like if you go up to a machine, a lot of machines out there, it'll tell you, okay, well, you have X amount more hours of this, or you have X amount more meters of this, and then you have to do whatever. But this kind of takes it to another level, because now you don't have to be at the machine to see that information.
That's correct. You can be anywhere. Yeah. As we say, it's cloud-based. So if you're sitting behind your desk in your office, you can pull up the web application. If you're traveling around on holiday and you want to check on your production, you can pull it up on your phone and take a look and see where a specific order is. So very handy, very convenient.
Yeah, it is very cool. All right, so Donnie, you want to actually get into it, show people the actual interface of Via Cockpit? All right, so let's get this up on the screen. There we go. All right, Donnie, let's switch and you can kind of show us around.
Okay, so as we stated, this is Via Cockpit. This is going to be the cloud-based solution. So we're actually accessing this from a web browser, and you can see on the screen here. This is the Via Cockpit is controls that are within the Weinig app itself. Okay, so some of the utilities within the Weinig app are free utilities, whereas others are provided on a subscription basis. That being said, for new machine sales, you get 1 year of Via Cockpit absolutely free for compatible machines. Pretty good deal, actually. So the Via Cockpit itself consists of Via Monitor, Via Notify, Via Order, Via Maintain, and Via Condition. Okay, so that pretty much contains all of the Via Cockpit utilities, and let's dive into Via Monitor. So inside Via Monitor, this is where you're going to see your machine state. Okay, so your machine state over a given period of time. Here we have various Weinig machines, from molders, grinders. We have some Holz-Her machines in here, so I've got a couple of counts here that we can see pretty much a little bit of everything. Right as we log in to Via Monitor, we can see over here on the right-hand side.
What's that color, Donnie?
Yeah, absolutely. That's where I was going, Christian. The current state of the machine.
Okay.
So you can see here this particular Dynastic is currently in production. I know it's in production because green means production. we can see some of these others are in maybe a setup state, or an idling state. So if we jump right in and take a look at this P1500, now we're looking at a Gantt chart here for today. All right, we can see that we were under production for a given amount of time, then went into a setup operation. We can see up here at the top, this is the ledger for the various colors. Once we're in this view, we have the ability to zoom in on a given period of time to further evaluate, what's, I kind of jumped around there.
Well, I think that's kind of important, that zoom ability, because a lot of times your state of that machine is changing, sometimes even minutes, right? Because setups could take 5 minutes or something like that, and then you're running production for 30, then you got another setup. So the more you're doing, and as you can see with this screen right now, the more that you're doing, that zoom functionality is really important.
Yes. So here we've gone into a dynastic here, one of our Holz-Her routers, and so we're looking at a period of time from 9 a.m. till to current time. Okay, and you can see that at 9 a.m. it was no communication off, so maybe they were undergoing maintenance or something like that. It was not connected to the network. But at 10 a.m. or roughly shortly after 10 a.m. we started in an idling state, then went to setup operation and right into production.
Right. Or maybe it's one of those shops that just start at 10.
Oh, yeah. Banker's hours. So anyway, that gives us a good overview of the machine state. And we have a couple different views. As I stated, we have the Gantt chart, we have a pie chart.
Oh, cool. So now that's more of, instead of going through the day, that's more of like that time as an aggregate form?
That's correct. So we're still looking at the same day. We're just looking at the data in a different format, if you will.
Sure.
One of the nice things, I'll jump back here, we also have the bar chart. Essentially, again, same data, different view.
Just a different view, sure.
But one of the nice things we can do, if we come back, and hopefully I don't have too many machines associated here, but we can select all machines. And we'll give this a minute, might grind a little bit. It's a lot of data being displayed here. But this is going to provide us with a chart for all of our machines over a given period of time.
Now, so for something like our showroom, this might not be the most useful thing, but if you have a shop and they're running, say, 3 rip saws and a couple molders, this is a great visualization of just what's going on and what happened this day, during a given day or week or custom amount of time.
And again, we have control over that time period. We can come up here and make a selection. I don't want to necessarily do this. Let's see what happens. Selecting all machines over a big period of time, depending upon the network connection.
Too much data, right?
But let's see what happens. Okay, so here we are. You can see when they weren't working. But again, we can see for each of the machines, over a 2-day period, the status. And of course, everybody wants more green in their chart.
Sure.
But let's look at this. If we come down here and say zoom in on this one machine, we can zoom right in and get a better snapshot of what's going on with that machine.
Nice.
So that's our VIA monitor. That's our machine state. Okay. I'm going to skip over here to VIA Notify.
Now, when Donnie's getting VIA Notify up, again, this is VIA Monitor. I mean, it's not just a standalone program that's running in the office or on one device out in the shop. This is cloud-based and it's mobile friendly. It's a mobile app. So this is something that you can look into, that you can kind of, I hate to say plug into because that's kind of an old term, but you can kind of plug into your shop at any point in time, anywhere.
Yes. Yep.
All right, so this is VIA Notify.
This is VIA Notify. So what this is, and it's really it's machine dependent. So of course, from machine model to model, type to type, you're going to have different notifications. You're not going to have glue temperature notifications coming from a molder, but you would from an edge bander.
Right.
Okay.
Sure.
So here we're looking at a molder. Okay. And we're looking at these notifications are both acknowledged and non-acknowledged notifications. So, and some of them are not. They're not notifications that require an operator to intervene.
Do anything. Right. Sure.
I mean, like I stated, and I'll jump over to it, but in the example of the edge bander, your machine is giving you notifications whether you know it or not.
Absolutely.
Whether your glue temperature is coming up to temperature and it's not quite warm enough to that glue temperature has now been satisfied. In addition to that, you're going to see like your emergency stop situations. If you have an operator that hits an emergency stop, you're going to see that notification.
That's a notification as well.
Right.
So notifications are not in via cockpit or via notify. Notifications are not always needing an action to take care of that.
That's correct. And they're not always a bad thing. It's more of a.
It's a notification.
It's a status report of your machine.
Yep.
If
Absolutely.
you will. Okay.
Yep.
So and again, from the notification, we can open it up and we can see some high-level information of when the notification appeared and when it was acknowledged.
Okay.
Okay. So that's notification.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Then we have via order. Okay. Via order is going to provide us with high-level order information. So, and again, this is dependent upon machine type as to what it's reporting. And whether or not customer is using it. Okay, so a lot of the machines are capable of tracking orders. However, they have to be set up. The operator has to initialize an order. It has to be named and it has to be started. Right. So a lot of our machines come with an order template, and we have customers that plug the machine in, they chunk wood at it, and it's one big order.
Oh, okay? Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
It has to be something that needs to be tracked. And
so this is one of those kind of modules, you could say, on via cockpit where it's part of it, but not every. It's not perfect for every situation, because you're absolutely right. Some shops, they'll have that Holz-Her edge bander. They'll set it up. They'll run production. They'll set it up. They'll run more production, and they're not actually inputting any kind of job info into that controller. They're wanting banded parts, and that's what they're getting. Very good banded parts at
absolutely.
that. So,
absolutely. And since we're talking about the edge bander scenario, what I've pulled up here is an active order on an edge bander.
Okay.
Okay. That is just a running order that has been running since the machine started. Okay. We have an empty job name, so the job, the order has not been given a description or a name. We are currently at 25,658 meters of banding that's been applied during this job. So either it's a huge job or clearly someone's not using this feature.
So again, it's not that if you don't use this on your machine, it breaks something. It's not like you can't use via cockpit. Absolutely. And in fact, via cockpit will actually probably give you more motivation to use the order functionality that's already in your Weinig or Holz-Her machine. It's great functionality. It's just that it takes a little bit more, a little bit more to set up or whatever. But once you do that, then you're able to monitor it again, not just at the machine, but anywhere that you can get a connection on your phone.
And when we're talking about just a little bit more, it really is negligible. Back to the edge bander scenario, there's a button on the interface. You click the button, you enter a job name, and you click start.
And that's it.
And it keeps a running tally of where you're going with that order.
Yeah.
For the PowerCom machines, our molders, you can set this up in the tool room. When the operator's at the machine, they can begin that profile, and ultimately you've set a required amount, and it tracks the produced amount for you.
So really, what this is basically trying to do is trying to give you the tools that you can use to have all this information about the machine in one place. The order, the notifications, the actual status, up, down, setup, etc.
Right.
All right?
All right. Okay. So that's via order. All right. We're going to move right on to via maintain. As we alluded before.
This is my favorite.
the via maintain allows you to track maintenance areas on your machine.
That's exactly right.
And I think we used we used the example earlier of lubrication.
Right.
Okay.
Sure.
So clearly you can see here that we have several items that need lubrication on your machine. It's got moving parts. And the factory has designated that you should lubricate these areas, in this case, in this first example, every 40 hours. Well, we're at a red status here. We're in an emergency status because it's been 48 hours since that machine has been lubricated.
So so this is so helpful. This isn't always just for the operator. This is for your shop foreman. This is for your maintenance technician that's on the shop floor, walking around, who's doing the PM to the machines. Maybe it's for the facilities guy who is in charge of doing light maintenance on machines. So not only they don't have to go to the machine, pull up a screen on the controller, navigate to a certain thing. They have it right there on their phone. And this is where I really think that we get a huge value boost in via Cockpit as a whole, because you can look up that maintenance log and those maintenance needs anywhere from your phone.
So using this information along with the via order, you can plan your production or plan your maintenance around your production. If you look in the app and foresee that in 8 hours, meaning tomorrow, you're going to need to go down for some maintenance, you can schedule your production or your maintenance around your production to address these points. And what we're looking at here, we basically have 3 states. We have a green state, which is everything's okay. We have a yellow state, which is kind of a warning level, if you will. And we have the red state, which means, hey, we need attention right now.
We're a bit overdue. Right.
And in the event that we... sorry, Christian.
I was going to say the green state's the best state.
Green state is the best state.
Green
Absolutely.
State's the
Absolutely.
best state. Also, it's the color of Weinig. So
Well, we've got Holz-Her. We don't have an orange state.
We don't have an orange state.
You'll notice here that in each one of these little widgets, if you will, we've got a little icon that will allow us to directly inquire with service.
So let's talk about that real quick, because I think that this also is super cool. It's a great function because, again, you don't have to be at the machine, though in this situation it probably would help. But let's just say you took some pictures or maybe a video of the machine and you're somewhere else now. You're driving home, or you're at another job. Maybe you're on a job site, maybe you're somewhere else, and you say, oh yeah, that's right, I needed to get in touch with Weinig Service about this issue. Maybe it wasn't a down issue, maybe it's just I got a question, something like that. This is great because, again, you don't have to be at the machine. You just pull up the app, go into the service request, and you can
so we'll go back
that.
We'll go back into the machine. So we're looking at the and see this machine, again, these points are machine specific. So,
let's touch on that real quick.
As you saw, I went from one machine to another, and due to the machine model, due to the machine type, you've got different areas that need maintenance. And clearly
right.
You can see, I went from 10 widgets on the screen to now I have to scroll to see all of them.
That's right. And this is model by model. I mean, this isn't even just, edge banders have one set of maintenance widgets or one set of notifications, and molders have another. This is per model, and so that's the nice thing, is that this also via Cockpit, you just hook up the machine to via Cockpit. You don't have to set up all these different notifications. You don't have to set up the maintenance. It's built into the machine. This is just an interface to look at it and interact
That being
with
said, we have some base level maintenance functions that need to be addressed. However, dependent upon the machine model and type, you have the ability to go in and build your own maintenance
well,
tasks.
That's even better.
So,
right, sure.
And the machine will track that for you based upon the thresholds that you set.
All right.
Okay. So, as we were discussing, to be able to contact service, you can see the little service guy icon in the upper right-hand corner. We can click that icon. It initializes a contact request form. And if you are on a mobile device, it provides you with the buttons to attach pictures or take pictures, or to attach video directly from your device. So very handy, very easy. Comes directly to our service department that can assist you with that issue.
That's right.
And very handy.
So those are our 4 areas.
We have one more.
We have one more.
Yeah. We have via condition. Okay. So, and honestly, via condition and via maintain, there could be some overlap, but again, it's machine specific.
Okay.
Dependent upon model. As we kind of discussed earlier, we gave the example of the spindle temperature.
Right.
And let's see. Okay. Yep. So here we are in via condition. Looks quite similar.
Okay.
What we're seeing here is we're seeing some software related information that's currently on the machine, which is very helpful if you're for whatever reason in contact with the service department and they want to know, hey, have you upgraded your machine? Yada yada yada. So it gives you that information, gives you the amount of time that your feed has been running, etc. But we also have, in this case, the spindle information, spindle temperature information, which is very handy. And this will, of course, should those spindle temperatures reach a threshold that could require addressing, it's going to give you a notification that falls under your VIA Notify.
Right.
So again, this differs from machine to machine, but very helpful information.
Good. All right. Very good. So Donnie, that's all via Cockpit.
That is our cloud-based offering. That is via Cockpit. And again, just to touch, this we're currently offering this free of charge for 1 year. After that it's a subscription-based service, free of charge with one machine, per machine, per compatible machine for 1 year.
Yep.
Okay. Cloud-based via Cockpit.
So we're gonna switch. And,
we're gonna switch.
Yeah, we're gonna switch, and now
I'm gonna take a swig of water.
We're gonna get into our dashboards here.
Okay. So the dashboards that you've been looking at in the background, as we stated, we have the cloud-based offering, but we also have, for those that maybe do not want to have the cloud offering, or maybe want to have a little more control over their data, we have the ability to have the data written to an internal database of your choice. Your choice, we have a couple different database engines that we use, but you can choose between those. Anyway, this provides, so the VIA Cockpit and the cloud-based offering, it funnels everything through one application to the cloud, okay? Our dashboard scenario is more of a module base that's machine specific, or I will say machine model specific. So we have a module that's for molders, we have a module that's for edge banders, we have a module that's for scanners, etc. And dependent upon those modules that you're running, the data that you're going to collect is going to be, again, specific to the machine. All right, so I have a couple examples here. This one is kind of just a static example, just to show you, what we're able to provide. And in it, you can see, again, at the bottom, our machine state information. Okay,
Right.
And this is machine state information for a given shift. So within the dashboard application, you could define a shift. First shift, second shift, third shift, etc. And based upon the hours defined, it's going to track your machine state over that course of time.
Now,
okay?
and each machine has its own widget on the dashboard. So this entire, real quick, just to back up real quick, this entire dashboard is more of an overall shop floor dashboard.
That's correct. You have the ability to build the dashboard for multiple machines. In this case, I think we've got six machines. Six machines being displayed here.
Yep.
You can give it a name. So we've got production line A. But you can also provide information for a single machine or two machines. And you can name your dashboard accordingly. Okay. You can pick the widgets that you want to display. And again, those widgets are going to be dependent upon machine type. So you're going to have different widgets for, let's say, a rip saw. So okay, up here for a rip saw, we're displaying the rip yield. Okay, we could also display, in the case of a rip saw, we could display board footage in versus board footage out.
Right.
Crosscut saw, chop saw, if you will. We're displaying the yield of a crosscut saw. You can see in the widget, the identifier of what that widget is displaying, the machine name, which is all driven by serial number, but we have the ability to assign an alias. So
to name that machine.
Yes.
Right.
I mean,
so if you had multiple rip saws, don't worry, you can name them different names so you can keep them straight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can build a dashboard for, your different production lines. If you've got production line A, production line B, etc.
Now, Donnie, let me ask you a question. So with the dashboards, you keep saying you can build one, and so what I'm gathering is that if you're running quite a few machines and you're gathering all this information, you have the ability to make different dashboards for different, let's say, placements in your shop. If you want an overall shop floor status, you could do something kind of like this. If you have more of like cell manufacturing, you could group a couple machines together and put a dashboard just for those machines, kind of like what you've done here.
Yeah. So the software itself is it's database driven, and you know, with these options, you have the ability to just consume the data, and you can build your own dashboard. Okay,
that's right.
Or you know, we can provide you with custom dashboards or our pre-made dashboard templates, and that's kind of what I'm showing you here. Is the pre-made dashboard templates, and the application itself is a server-based application. So you'll have the application running on one PC on your network.
Yep.
And then if you choose to go with our dashboard solutions, per dashboard, everything runs from a little micro PC. Okay, so you provide the display of your choice. You know, you can have a 30-inch TV up to a 65-inch TV, provided it has an HDMI port. You plug it in, you log in, you configure it to the widgets and the machines that you want to display, and you're up and running.
All right, so Donnie, let's not scare anybody out there. So the amount of let's say network or computer knowledge that someone has to have to get this up and running is not a lot. I mean, Donnie's extremely smart when it comes to this stuff, but
I fake it.
There's a lot more. There's a lot of folks out there, including myself, that fake it even more, and we're not as good at it. So, you know, what's that kind of onboarding process? I mean, are people looking at days to set this up, or
absolutely not? Absolutely not. You know,
kind of set our minds at ease.
Right? We will assist you with the the installation of the application on the server, okay, and then you know, and we can, you know, once that application is installed, we have the ability to remote in from your server
and create templates?
and create these templates for you and walk you through it. It's very simple. I mean, if you're used to going on to Google and typing in a search word, you can definitely do this. It's a matter of making selections, typing in text boxes, and you're up and running.
So again, that's that, and I think that's the big value of our dashboard solution that you're seeing here on these dashboards, is the fact that it is so modular. So that, again, and I used to work in the shop, so I know in one place in the shop you'll want to display this information, but then if you're on this other side of the shop doing something else, you don't care about that information at all.
Correct.
It's just eating up display space. That's all it is. No one actually cares. And in fact, anybody out there who runs a shop, you guys know, if you have guys on the floor working every day and they're constantly having to look at information that doesn't pertain to them, they will stop looking at information. That's just human nature. I do it, right? So this kind of allows shop owners and production floor managers to show information that only pertains to that area of the shop.
Exactly. You can have a small monitor set up inside your molder. You can have another monitor set up outside of a work cell, and then you can have another monitor set up in your production office, so that your production managers can get a quick snapshot of the current state of the machine. You know, another thing we're looking at is down here in the lower left-hand corner, we're seeing the current state of that machine. Okay, so not just the state for a given shift, but the current state. So if you're in the production office and you look up and you see, maybe you see that we're in a red state here on your ProMaster, we know that there's an error that needs to be addressed.
That's right. So just at a glance, you know what's going on just by glancing at that production dashboard. Again, going back to multiple machines, that cell manufacturing. If you're in cell manufacturing, you're running a couple different types of machines. You don't have to have a monitor at each machine.
No.
You can actually group those machines into the cell, because you know what? That's what we do in real life.
That's right.
So why not make the software do it?
Yep.
So we group those into a cell, and then we're monitoring the cell. And again, the cell's dashboard is taking into account. Is it taking into account the yield? For example, like the overall yield, is that for the cell?
That is for the machines that are part of that display. So
that's
again,
perfect. Yeah,
you have the ability, again, to pick and choose the machines that you want to display and the information and how it relates to one another. You know, so if you're dealing with a rip chop line,
Yep.
You can look at the overall yield from your line. So
that's right.
very flexible.
Or if you're looking at 3 rip chop lines, right? You can look at a monitor for each one of them. You could look at one that has all of them.
Yep.
So I mean, again, it's how defined does the application or even the placement of the monitor, how defined do you need it?
That's correct.
And that's what the dashboard will give you.
That's correct.
All right, Donnie.
Yeah.
Great. Well, okay, so if you guys have any questions, comments, put them in the feed. We'll get to them. Again, we covered via cockpit. We covered our dashboard solution. This is all part of our digital business department here at Weinig USA. And if you guys have any questions, or maybe you guys are running Weinig Holz-Her machines and you are wondering, okay, well, how do I actually implement this stuff? We do that every day.
Absolutely.
Right? We're dealing,
give us a call.
Yeah, give us a call.
We've got you covered.
We deal with machine owners all the time.
Absolutely.
And getting them up to speed with what digital business solutions there are. All right, so everyone, this is wrapping up our presentation here. Stay tuned. We're going to start our next presentation today. I mean, we just keep rolling today, Donnie. Busy day today. Our next presentation is on the Kundig wide belt sander. So stay tuned, and we'll start that in about 10 minutes or so.